In this unit, you are going to learn about different ways to talk about future actions, events and situations, and about time expressions used with the future tenses. First, we'll study the use of the present continuous tense used to refer to planned future actions. Used in this way, there is no change in the verb form, but by adding a time adverbial, we indicate that the action will take place in the future and is not taking place in the present. Once it is understood that you are referring to the future, it is no longer necessary to use time adverbials. Look at these examples. Where are you going for your holidays this summer? We're going to New York. We're leaving July the 1st and spending 2 weeks there. Then we're going to the West Coast for a week. It is important to remember that in English, the present simple is not used to describe future actions that have been previously planned. Where do you go for your holidays this year? Is a mistake. Remember too, not to use verbs that are not used in the continuous form. You cannot say, where are you being on July the 4th? The exception is those verbs that with certain meanings can be used in the continuous form. Examples are, we're having a party on Saturday. We're seeing a Broadway musical one evening. The present continuous can only be used to describe future actions that have been planned or arranged. It cannot be used when you make a spontaneous decision to describe intentions or to make predictions. I think it's raining this evening is a mistake. And if you say, oh look, it's raining now, I'm taking an umbrella is a mistake. We have already seen what prepositions are used with different time expressions. At, with a time, at 10 o'clock, at 6 minutes past 10. At, with periods of time, at the weekend, at Christmas, at the end of the month. At, with night, at 11 o'clock at night. In, with other parts of the day. In the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning. In, with seasons. In the spring, in the summer, in the autumn, in the winter. In American English, in the autumn and in the fall have the same meaning. In, with months. In February, in April, in July. In, with years and centuries. In 1998. In the year 2000. In the 21st century. On, whenever a day is mentioned. On Friday morning. On the 4th of July. On Christmas Day. Another use of in is to indicate the end of a period of time. I'm flying to New York in 2 weeks. By means before a specific date. Within means before the end of a period of time. It's the 3rd of April. I must renew my license by the 13th of April within 10 days. When you use time expressions with this and next, as you will often need to do when talking about the future, no preposition is used. I'm going to Venice this weekend. I'm having dinner with the Fabris next Saturday. I'm spending my holidays in Scotland next year. And no preposition is used with the day after tomorrow, the week after next, a week from Friday. The structure going to is used in two different ways. First, when you want to describe intentions. It is also used when we make predictions based on tangible evidence. To form the future with going to, we use a subject plus the correct form of the verb to be, plus the base verb. Here are the full and contracted forms for affirmative sentences. I am going to work. I'm going to work. He is, she is, it is going to work. He's, she's, it's going to work. We are, you are, they are going to work. We're, you're, they're going to work. For the negative, add not after the verb to be, before going. Here are the full and contracted forms for negative sentences. I am not going to work. I'm not going to work. He, she, it is not going to work. He, she, it isn't going to work. We, you, they are not going to work. We, you, they aren't going to work. To form questions, place the correct form of the verb to be before the subject. Am I going to work? Is he, is she, is it going to work? Are we, are you, are they going to work? Short answers are formed with a subject and the verb to be. For affirmative short answers, yes, I am. Yes, he is. Yes, we are, etc. For negative short answers, no, I'm not. No, he isn't. No, we're not, etc. What is the difference in use between the going to future and the present continuous? The present continuous can be used with future meaning when something has been arranged. One use of the going to future is to talk about plans or intentions which do not involve arrangements. Notice the difference between I'm flying to London on Tuesday and I'm staying for 2 weeks, and I'm going to watch television this evening. In the first case, some arrangements have been made. An air ticket has been bought, a hotel room has been booked. In the second case, we are describing an intention that does not involve any particular arrangements. Of course, sometimes the distinction is not clear, and when this is the case, you can choose either the present continuous or the future with going to. Anyway, with the verb to go, we rarely say going to go. Look at this example. I'm going to watch television this evening and then I'm going to bed early. So you needn't worry when you ask, where are you going this summer? Who are you going with? There won't be any confusion about whether you are talking about arrangements or about plans. Another use of going to is to make predictions. Say what is going to happen. When we have real evidence and feel that something is certain. If you look out of the window and see the sun shining, you can say, it's going to be a nice day. When you know someone who is expecting a baby, you can say, Mary's going to have a baby in November. However, going to is not used to make predictions when we are only stating what we think will happen. The future with will, sometimes called the pure future, is used for predictions when we are simply stating what we think, and is used when we talk about a decision made at the moment we are speaking. Its use in conditional sentences will be studied further on. Will is a modal verb. It is invariable in all persons and does not require auxiliaries to form the negative or interrogative. It is followed by the base verb. Here we have used be. I will be, you will be, he, she, it will be, we will be, you will be, they will be. The contracted form, pronoun plus apostrophe ll, is very often used. I'll, you'll, he'll, she'll, will, they'll be. You can add the contracted ending to words which end in consonants when you speak and say it'll, this'll, that'll, John'll, what'll, and so on. But in writing, words which end with consonants should be followed by the full form will. To form the negative, add not after will. The contracted form of will not is won't. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they will not be. Or I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they won't be. Questions are formed by placing will before the subject. Will I, you, he, she, it, we, they be. Affirmative short answers use the subject pronoun plus will. Yes, I will. Yes, you will, etc. Negative short answers use the subject pronoun plus won't. No, I won't. No, you won't, etc. Shall and the negative shall not or shan't can be used with I and we, but nowadays it is perfectly acceptable to use will for the future in all persons. The contracted form of shall is apostrophe ll, the same as in the contracted form of will. When do we use the will future? First of all, it cannot always be used to describe future actions and events. When you are describing arrangements, intentions and predictions which involve certainty based on evidence, it is a mistake to use will. You can use will when you make a spontaneous decision. In other words, when you say something you have just thought of at the moment of speaking. Oh look, it's raining. I'll take an umbrella. Or imagine you are in a restaurant looking at the menu. You can say, I'll have a steak and a salad. By spontaneous decision, we mean something you have not been thinking about for a long time, like those in the examples we've just seen. In such cases, we often use I think with will, which indicates we have just decided what to do. I'm tired. I think I'll go to bed. My car is always breaking down. I think I'll buy a new one. When in doubt, when you can't decide whether you're talking about a spontaneous decision or an intention, choose whichever seems best. All of the following examples are acceptable. I feel awful. I'll stop smoking. Or I think I'll stop smoking. I feel awful. I'm going to stop smoking. I think I'll buy a new car. Or I'm going to buy a new car. But do not use the present simple or the present continuous to talk about intentions. The present simple is not widely used in simple sentences to talk about the future. The future with will, the structure going to and the present continuous are much more common. The use of the present simple with future meaning is limited to events that have already been programmed. When referring to train, bus and airline schedules, cinema, theatre and television timetables, opening and closing times of shops and services. For example, what time does the film start? Let's hurry, the train leaves in 10 minutes. Remember that the present simple cannot be used to talk about planned future actions or about intentions, spontaneous decisions and predictions, and it cannot be used in promises, threats, offers and requests. Promises and threats can be seen as spontaneous decisions to do something in the future. Will and won't are normally used. I promise I'll stop smoking. Don't worry, I'll pay you back. You'll be sorry. I'll never speak to you again. I'll phone the police. Going to is also possible. I'm never going to speak to you again. But you cannot use the present simple or the present continuous. Stop that, or I phone the police, is a mistake. Stop that, or I'm phoning the police, is a mistake. Will is also used in offers and requests. For example, we can offer to open a window, carry someone's bags, prepare supper, meet someone. I'll open the window. I'll carry your bag. I'll prepare supper. I'll meet you at the airport. You can also use shall I in offers. Shall I open the window? Shall I carry your bag? Shall I prepare supper? The phone's ringing. Shall I answer it? In American English, should I is used in offers. Should I open the window? The phone's ringing. Should I answer it? But you cannot use going to, and you must not use the present simple or present continuous when offering to do something. Requests can be made using will you. Will you help me? Will you open the window? The phone's ringing. Will you answer it? In addition to those presented earlier in this unit, time expressions often used in offers and requests include as soon as possible, at once, immediately, right away, straight away. You can say, will you photocopy the report as soon as possible? Yes, I'll do it right away. That is the end of the lesson. Now you can do the exercises on the grammar points presented in this unit.